I have the singular honor as the returning officer of the 2024 presidential election to declare His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the winner of the 2024 presidential election and the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana.
On December 7, 2024, Ghanaians went to the polls to elect their parliamentarians as well as a president. The elections were peaceful and successful, and various parliamentarians were elected. And fortunately also, we have a president-elect of the Republic of Ghana. I'm excited about it, and as a lawyer, a lot of issues are of concern to me, and I'm excited to educate you about all these matters. As usual, I am Godwin Selassie Dakbo, and this is Make It Legal. Make it legal. Upon declaration by the chairperson that President John Dramani Mahama is the president-elect of the Republic of Ghana, it is expected that the proceedings will start as soon as possible to get John Mahama to take over the office of the president and to perform the duties of the president. That process of ensuring that power is transferred from the New Patriotic Party government to the National Democratic Congress government is called transition. In this video, which we call the transition series, we explain to you all the procedures required to legally transfer political power from the MPP government to the NDC government, that is to the president-elect and his team. I'll take you through a series of videos all on transition till the handing over takes place. In this particular video, we are explaining to you what the transition is all about and how it all starts. I mean, you will get to understand that in this video. So if you are ready like I am, let's get started. So as you are already aware, December 7 was the day we all went to the polls to cast our votes. And casting your vote to elect a president or parliamentarian is one of your civic duties as a person or as a citizen. So when you are a citizen of Ghana, you have the right to vote, or you are qualified to vote, and you fulfilled all the procedural requirements of the Electoral Commission as enshrined in the regulations of the EC. You are expected to go to the polls or to the polling station and cast your vote. And we've all done that as Ghanaians on the 7th of December 2024. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission on the 9th of December 2024 declared that former President John Dramani Mahama is the president-elect of the Republic of Ghana because he won the elections. As soon as the declaration is made, it marks the beginning of transition or change in power or transfer of political power or administration from one government, which is democratically elected government or president, to another, which is also a democratically elected president. So in this case, President Akufo-Addo would be expected to transfer political power from his government, which is a democratically elected government, to President John Dramani Mahama, who is also a democratically elected president. Now, this transition process is governed by laws. You know, everything in this country is regulated by laws. There are two principal laws in this country that I think you should know about as far as the regulation of the transition process is concerned. And these two laws, the first one, which I believe you know already if you are a follower of this channel and you are part of the Make It Legal family, you should know about the 1992 Constitution. If you know that, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know whether or not you are aware of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. If you are aware, it is indeed the first law that regulates the transition process or the transfer of political power from one government to the other. The second important law, which I think you might not have heard about or you are yet to hear about, is the Presidential Transition Act 2012 at 845. Presidential Transition Act of 2012 at 845. That is the law that provides the detailed procedure of how the president-elect and the incumbent president should take care of the transfer of power from one to the other. First, let's talk about the first condition for transition, what I call the first condition for transition. There can only be a transition, and we can only have this conversation about the compliance or otherwise, of this law when there is this condition, and that condition is that the president in power must be a democratically elected president. And the second condition, which is related to this, is that the person who is elected at the polls must also be a democratically elected president. So if there is no democratically elected president, we cannot talk about transition. What it means is that if there's a takeover by military, all that you will hear about is that we suspend this, we suspend that, we suspend that, we suspend that, and we are taking over. There will be no need for transition in a democratic sense as we know it today. So the first condition, which is important to every transition in Ghana, or as far as the presidential election is concerned, is that there should have been in office a democratically elected president like Nana Akufo-Addo. He is elected into office democratically, right? People went to the polls, cast their vote, and chose him. Then the second condition is that a new president must be elected democratically, so like former President John Dramani Mahama is elected democratically. So because he's elected well in accordance with democracy, the constitution of Ghana, the laws of Ghana, we have the condition met to be able to undertake transition. So that's the first thing that I want you to note, that before we talk about transition, we need to make one of two key conditions. The first one is that there should be in office a president who has been democratically elected. And the second condition is that the incoming president should also be one who is democratically elected. Then we can begin to talk about transition. So if this condition is met, what is the first step of the transition process? So the first thing that should happen is provided for in section 1 of the Presidential Transition Act 2012, Act 845. Okay, and what does it say? It says that that's subsection 1 of section 1 of the Presidential Transition Act 2012. Of course, the subheading there is transition team. So it says that within 24 hours after the declaration of the results of the presidential election, in accordance with Article 63 of the Constitution, the incumbent president shall appoint the head of the presidential staff appointed under the Presidential Office Act of 1993 at 463. And then he shall also appoint the Attorney General and the ministers responsible for presidential affairs, finance, interior, defense, foreign affairs, local government, and national security. It goes on to say that the person elected as president shall appoint also an equal number of persons as appointed under paragraph A to constitute a transition team that shall include the head of the civil service, the head of the local government service, the secretary to the cabinet, and the national security coordinator. So you would see that the first step to the transition process after the condition is met is to appoint a transition team members, and the law requires that the president, that is the incumbent president, has to appoint 9 persons. All these 9 persons are persons who are already in his government. Okay, the Attorney General is already there. He is there as an Attorney General, so he has to appoint him as an Attorney General to be part of the transition team. When you read further, the law tells you that the president-elect also has to appoint 9 persons. According to section 11A, the president who is in office, the incumbent president, is expected to appoint 9 persons. Now, because he's to appoint 9 persons, the one who is the incoming president would also be permitted to appoint 9 persons. Just so you don't mix any of our content that will be coming up on this topic, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you can receive notification from us and get to watch our videos. Go ahead also to like it, and don't forget to share with a friend. I am Godwin Selassie Dakbo, and this is Make It Legal. Make it legal. So apart from the 9 persons who the president would appoint, okay, who are already holding offices in his government, he is also to invite or appoint 4 other persons to be part of the transition team.